I'm thrilled I'm thrilled to be telling you. I'm I'm thrilled I'm thrilled I'm thrilled to be telling you. I'm thrilled to be telling you the truth. I'm thrilled I'm thrilled to be telling you the story behind the story of who moved my cheese. Because it means audio program is complete and available for all of us to listen to, enjoy, and share with others. This is something I wanted to see happen. This is something I've wanted to see happen ever since I first heard Spencer Johnson tell us great cheese story. Years ago, before we wrote our book, The 1 Minute Manager, together. I remember thinking then how good the story was and how helpful it would be. And I remember thinking then how good the story was and how helpful it would be, and helpful it would be to me from that moment on. Who Moved My Cheese is a story about chains that takes place in the maze where four amusing characters look for cheese. Cheese being a metaphor for what we want to have in life, whether it's a job, a relationship, money, a big house, freedom, health, recognition, spiritual peace, or even activity like jogging or golf. Each of us has our own idea of what cheese is, and you pursue it because you believe it makes it happy. If you get it, you are often becoming attached to it, and if you lose it or it's taken away, it can be traumatic. The maze in the story represents where you spend time looking for what you want. It can be the organization you work in, the community you live in, or the relationships you have in your life. I tell the story that you're about to listen to in my talks around the world and often run letters from people about what a difference it has made to them. Believe it or not, this little story has been credited with saving careers, marriages, and lives. One of many real-life examples comes in Charlie John, a well-respected broadcaster for NBC TV, who revealed that hearing the story of Who Might Cheese saved his career. His job as a broadcaster is unique, but the principle he learned can be useful by anyone. Here's what happened. Charlie works hard and done a great job broadcasting track and field events and an Olympic Games. So he was surprised and upset when his boss told him he'd been removed from the showcase events for next Olympic and was assigned to swimming and diving. Not knowing these sports as well, he was frustrated. He felt unappreciated and he became angry. He said he thought it wasn't fair. His anger began to affect everything he did. Then he heard the story of Who Moved My Cheese. After that, he said laughed to himself and after that he said it laughed at himself and changed his attitude. He realized that his boss had moved the cheese, so he adapted. He learned to learn new sport, and in the process found something new made him feeling young. He learned to learn sport and the process found doing something new made him feel young. That wasn't long before the boss recognized his new attitude and energy, and soon got better assignment. He went out to want joy, more success than ever, just never, and was later inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame Broadcasters Alley. That's just one of many real-life stories I've heard, but of the impact this story had on people, from their work life to the love life. I'm such a strong believer in the power of who might cheat that I gave her a copy only pre-publication, only pre-publication at pre-publication pre-publication edition to everyone. More than 200 people working with our company. Why? Because like every company that wants to not only survive in the future but stay competitive, the ambulance company are constantly changed. They keep moving our cheese. While the Paris domain wanted a lawyer employee, today we need flexible people who are not possessive about the way things are done around here. And yet it's no. Living in constant right world with change occurred all the time at work and life can be stressful. Unless people have a way of looking for change, there has an understanding. And to the cheese story. When I told people about story and then gave them copy, you could almost feel the littlest negative energy beginning to occur. Person after person for every department and I the way thanked me and told me how helpful. You could almost feel the release of negative energy beginning to occur. Person after person from every department when every department person after person from every department when I rode away to thank me for told me how helpful. Who moved my cheese had been to them already in seeing the change going on our company in different line. Believe me, this brief parable takes a little. Believe me, this brief parable. Believe me, this brief parable takes a little time to listen to. Believe me, this brief parable takes a little time to listen to, but its impact can be found profound. As you listen, you'll hear three sections in this program. In the first, a gathering, former classmate talks on the class reunion about trying to deal with the change happening in their lives. The second section is the story of who might cheat, the core of this program. In the third section of discussion, people discuss what the story meant to them and how they are going to use it in their work there and in their life. Meant to them and how they are going to use it works any their lives. Some listeners to this program prefer to stop into the story without listening further and to interpret its meaning for themselves. Others enjoy listening discussion to follow because it stimulates their thinking about how they might apply their learn to their situation. In any case, I hope each time you listen, who moved my chi, you'll find something new and useful in it, as I do, and th- and that I then I and that it will help you deal with change and bring you success. Whatever you decide success is for you. I hope you enjoy I hope you enjoy what you discover. And I wish you well. Remember, move with the cheese. A gathering, Chicago. One sunny Sunday in Chicago, several former classmates who good friends during school gathered for lunch, having attended by school reunion the night before. The high school reunion the night before. They wanted to hear more about what's happening in each other's life. After a good deal of kidding and a good meal, they settled into the interesting conversation. Angela, who had been almost who Angela, who had been one of the most popular people in the class, said, "Life sure turned out. Life sure turned out differently than I thought it would do in school. A lot has changed." "It certainly had," Nathan echoed. They knew he had gone into the family business. They knew he had gone into the family's business, which had all played pretty much the same and had been a part of community for as long as they could remember. So they were surprised. So were they surprised when you seemed to concern? He asked. "But have you noticed how we don't want to change when things change?" Carol said. "I guess we resist changing because we're afraid of change." Carlos, you were captain of the football team," Jessica said. I never thought I'd hear you anything about being afraid." They all laughed to realize that although had they realized, Jessica said, I never thought I'd have Carlos, your captain of football team, Jessica said. "I never thought I'd heard you," Jessica said. Football team. I never thought I'd hear you saying anything about being afraid. I never thought about hear I never thought about I do. I never thought you hear. I never thought hear you saying anything about being afraid. I never thought of hearing anything about being afraid. I never thought I'd hear you say being afraid. I never thought of anything about being afraid. I'd heard you. I never thought about hear you saying anything about being afraid. Anything about being afraid. Being afraid. I never thought of hear you say anything. Hear you. Jessica said, "I never thought of hear you saying anything about being afraid. I never thought about hear you saying anything about being afraid. I never thought about hear you saying anything about being afraid. Anything about being afraid. I never thought about hear afraid of change. Carol, you're captain of football team. I never thought hear anything about being afraid." They all laughed and realized that although they had often different directions, anything about being afraid. I never thought about hear you saying anything about afraid. They all laughed and realized that although they had gone off in different directions, from working at home to managing company, They were experiencing similar feelings. Everyone was trying to cover Everyone was trying to cover Everyone was trying to cope with unexpected changes that were happening to them in recent years, and most admitted they did not know a good way to handle them. Then Michael said, "I used to be afraid of change. When a big change came along with business, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do, so we didn't address, and you were so lost it. What to do, so we didn't adjust, and we almost lost it. That is, he continued, until I heard a funny little story that changed it. She continued, until I heard a funny little story that changed everything. How so? Nathan asked. Well, the story changed the way I looked at change, from losing something to gaining something. He showed me how to do it. After that, how to do it. Well, the story changed the way I looked at change, from losing something to gaining something. For losing something, for gaining something. For losing something, for gaining something. Things quickly improved at work and my life. At first, I was knowing the obvious simply. At first, quickly, from losing something to gaining something, and showed me how to do it. After that, things quickly improved at work and my life. At first, I was knowing the obvious, simple the story sounded something we might have been told in school. Then I realized I really annoyed myself for nothing obviously and doing what works in things change. When I realized the before character story represented past myself, I decided who I wanted to act like, and their change. Later, a past drove in some people I accompanied, and they passed on other. His soon business did much better, because most were adapted change better. And like me, many people said it helped them in the personal life. However, there were few people who said got nothing out of it. They either knew the lesson or were already living alone, or more commonly, they felt already knew everything and didn't want to learn. They couldn't see why so many others benefited from it. When one of us is having difficulty adapting such a story waste of time, other people killed himself. They knew each character, he was no story, meaning the one who learned nothing new and did not change. What's the story? Angela asked. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? The group laughed. I think I like it already, Carol said. Which tell a story? Maybe you can get something from it. Sure, Michael replied. I'd be happy to. It doesn't take long. And so he began.